Piper. I am the Martian ambassador.
Des Moines and all of Central Iowa, welcome to Max World Live. Max World is your world. Every day we talk about the issues and topics that matter most to you. And as always, it's your voice we want to hear in Max World. So join the conversation by calling 515-244-0077. And now, here's the host of Max World Live, J. Michael McCoy.
Oh, boogie, boogie, boogie. Oh, I'm not a NASCAR announcer. It's 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 6.5, almost 7 minutes after 3 o'clock on the 15th day of December in the Lord's year 2015. 10 days till Christmas. Is that right? It's not.
Wow, yeah.
It is 10 days.
Today would be the 15th. That would be 10 days away. Yep.
Yeah. Of course, at church, we've been getting up. We've got Christmas program starting Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve.
So hard to remember. What day of the week would that be?
Well, that would be Wednesday night.
Okay.
And then Thursday, Christmas Eve day, we have services at 1. Just remember odd. Think of Frank, and then remember odd. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. And then we have a Christmas Day service at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
I do the Christmas Day service every year.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Is it early morning or like morning time?
Oh, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good crowd for a little Lutheran church.
That's cool.
But Pastor Richard, most usually, is the organ player because he's really good. And so then I go in and I read scripture for that day and help with communion. And, then we don't have to have as many people come in if they don't want to.
You mentioned having a church service on Christmas Day itself. I don't know. I was not here in Iowa, so I don't know how the community reacted, but you remember a couple of years ago, Christmas fell on a Sunday, and I don't know if you cared what evangelicals thought back then, but that was kind of a kerfuffle because, a lot of your Bible churches, your evangelical Bible churches don't do a Christmas Eve or a Christmas Day service. They definitely wouldn't do a Christmas Day service. That's a bit more of a mainline thing.
Really?
Yeah, it tends to be. I mean, some of your evangelical churches now do Christmas Eve stuff just for the kids, but it's not as big a part of the tradition. And so when you have Christmas Day falling on a Sunday, it was a big kerfuffle because a lot of people were like, "Well, we don't want to, go to church on Christmas Day." But it was a Sunday.
But isn't that the day? Isn't Christmas Day the second day of the year? You should absolutely go to church.
Right, but it's isn't that interesting though?
It sounds very selfish. Hey, this is my day to open presents and go to the relatives and drink too much beer and eggnog and have lots of turkey and by the way, honor Jesus' birth. But I don't have time to go to church.
But it seems like Christmas Eve services tend to be the bigger deal. I don't know growing up if I ever went to church on Christmas Day. Now, Christmas Eve's a big deal. I mean, we always did that.
We always did the midnight candlelight in the Episcopal Church.
Love that. I love the silent night with the candles, lights out in the church. It's one of my favorite things.
Now, this is your 5th Christmas
in Iowa.
Here in Iowa.
Yep.
Have you yet to come to Hope to see our Christmas pageant?
I have not.
Okay. Well, I would invite you. You are invited.
Thank you.
It is, you've got, what did I say? You've got all day Thursday, you've got Wednesday night, and I think you've got Tuesday night. I think there's one Tuesday night, a couple Wednesday, and then all day Thursday. Your daughter would love it. Your family would love it. Just think about going to the Civic Center.
Sure. For
a big Christmas gala that you can say Jesus at.
Right.
That's really what it is.
Well, and I would not doubt that is not. I don't think that's overblown. I think at Lutheran Church of Hope, I think they could pull off quite an incredible an event. You guys have a great audio video team and just the theater department, things like that. It's really cool.
Chris, the Civic Center don't got nothing on their productions.
Well, that's probably true. I've never been to something at the Civic Center either. So.
Well, and
I'm not very cultured, Mac.
You are. But it's not for everybody. I'll be honest with you. I probably spiritually enjoy the Christmas Day service because it's traditional.
Yeah.
Oh, did I mention that? That's a traditional service on Christmas morning.
Oh, so what you do Christmas Eve is this pageant thing. It's not more of a...
Okay. It's not really a church service. But, you know,
Gotcha.
that Hope really has never done an Easter or a Christmas church service. We've always done more of a pageant, something to enjoy. But you better know that Mike gets the message out.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the things I really love about your pastor. Is I think that the guy hits it home. I mean, he knows what the core thing is, man.
Yeah.
He knows what the real deal is.
And
But-
Chris, they also have to have the police department direct traffic in and out of the place. There's so many people coming in for the multiple services.
Well, I believe
How many
that.
people do they run through there on a Christmas holiday, Mac? Didn't you say 30,000?
If the weather is okay, yes. Unfortunately, in Iowa, weather makes a difference. But if it's easy for people to get around, we'll have 30, maybe even more. Because we've got every room in the house is set up with chairs. The gym, the big room that holds, 700 people, and then the 2,800. But
And then you have screens, kind of overflow screens in those rooms.
Yeah. But, it's one of those things that if you've never been to it, and I'm sitting here describing it, you're hearing lots of mega church. You're hearing lots of people. I use the word pageant and not much Jesus. And I can't explain to you that it's not that way until you come and watch. It isn't just a big auditorium show. It is the celebration of the birth of Jesus. That's what we do. And it is absolutely done in full-blown Lutheran contemporary style. Anyway, I don't mean to give a big commercial. That's not my intention. But who I do want to give a commercial to. Do you see what I got over here?
Oh, I did. I can see it and I can smell it, and I will say that they deserve a beautiful commercial. You were talking about that before you went on the air.
Jimmy's Euros. By the way, they didn't pay me for this, and I always pay for my food, right?
Yep.
I do not take free food from people. I don't even get a discount. Not interested. But in the Merle Hay Mall food court, we got Stu's Barbecue.
Yeah.
And we got Jimmy's Euros.
Yeah.
And I'm a Euro fan.
Yep.
But see, they're so easy to cheat on. They don't have the real meat and they don't have homemade cucumber sauce. Well, I've had, I don't know, about a dozen probably since I opened. I don't know.
You've had a lot.
They're wonderful.
They
Tell
really
us-
are good.
Mac, tell us the trick we used to do down at the Skywalk at the pizza place. One of your favorite hangouts.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you was
We
at the
used to
Skywalk.
go to this place that had pizza by the slice that they'd sell. And we'd show up about 10 till 2 because they'd close at 2. And so any pizza they had left over, they'd give it to us. So I used to bring back, me and Frank used to bring back 2 or 3 boxes full of all this wonderful pizza.
That was weird at the Skywalk. That place just shuts down after lunch, doesn't
yeah.
it? In the
Oh, yeah.
afternoon, that Skywalk used to just get completely shut down. But I would second that. The food at the Merle Hay Mall food court right now has just completely got a big upgrade as of recently.
And that Vietnamese restaurant,
fantastic.
really good food.
Yep.
There is the tamales. That's right.
Yep.
So you got all 4 of those are homemade local people.
Yeah.
So, and there's some other places. There's a pizza place and there's a Made Right place, and we're getting a new chicken and fish, I guess. Something,
Yeah,
but
something.
Something told me that was a chain. All right. Couple things to talk about today. Michael Damastis, Pastor Michael Damastis, and Tom Coates will be in a little bit later, and we're going to talk a little politics around what's going on. I think, isn't he, you're a cruise guy, right? Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, you can come and sit down if you want. Okay. He's going to go use a restroom. I guess I didn't really need to say
You
that.
didn't
did
need
I?
to say
Okay.
that, no.
So we're going to talk a little politics at next hour. Maybe he'll join us for some of the local stuff too. Michael is always good with the social issues, which so many pastors like to shy away from those. And I'm okay with that. I respect that.
Sure.
I respect that. But I will say for all the pastors listening out there, I have an opportunity for you. I got a call from Ben Carson's people. And the Carson sisters, or the singing Carsons, which I guess are his family, and his wife and some of those people, they had an event scheduled for this Friday night in Des Moines, and it got canceled. So they will be here, and if you'd like them to come to your church or someplace to sing, they'd love to come. I don't think Ben's there. I think Ben has other obligations. But if for some reason you're having a church service Friday night, you want to have a church service Friday night, and you're willing to go down that road, they're not going to, they are the singing Carsons. They are Ben Carson's family. You have to talk about that. He's not going to be there. You're not going to get a speech. But if for some reason you wanted to do something at your church or at your library or something this Friday night, they're available. I know that's kind of odd, but hey, we got an opening.
There you go.
We can fill it. Let's fill it. All right, when we come back, oh man. So the YMCA of Greater Des Moines ran big time money short. Because they built the new one downtown. Mm-hmm. They built the new one in Waukee. They upgraded a couple of them, and they had Johnson Grimes on the line to build. Well, between donations going down and them not getting a special EB-5, that is a investment program that you can get through the government, but you have to qualify for it. And the bad news is they didn't qualify for it, and I'll tell you why that's the case. Also, the young lady killed in Ames yesterday. More has learned about her and that hit and run. Nobody has come forward. Nobody has said they don't have any hints.
Man.
There is no street cameras. They're looking at security cameras in houses or businesses around there, but so far nothing. And also a little bit later, I think there's a little scandal. These are the opinions of J. Michael McCoy and J. Michael McCoy only. I think there's a little bit of scandal going in one of our state representatives' office. And it hit the newspapers today. There's been a guilty plea by someone involved, and I'll tell you about it. Maybe you care, maybe you don't. I just thought you might be interested. And that's coming up this hour live here on The Truth. 99.3, powered by webcast1live.com. Welcome to come in.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show there every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
That's worship leader Nathan Thomas from Berean in Pleasant Hill as their worship director. Has a CD that he put out this year, $5. All your favorite hymns, mostly instrumental only. I think he does have his little daughter sing on one of them. But obviously we're using it as bumper music here on the radio, music that we use coming in and out of breaks. But I can't wait for Christmas Day when all the kids are over, and I think I'm just going to put that CD in the background.
Yeah, it's nice. It's beautiful. He's an incredibly talented guy.
Yeah,
really just blew me away. He led us in Christmas carols at the Testify event in December, and that was just outstanding.
Yeah. And Berean Assembly, and I don't know the denominational thing there. Is Berean Assembly
of God Assembly? They're an AOG church.
Okay,
that's a denomination. Assembly of God is a particular.
And what is unique to that denomination?
That's Pentecostal, right?
Well, I wouldn't say Pentecostal. They're charismatic. They do believe in the spiritual gifts. In particular, they're noted for the speaking in tongues, and this. I'm just going to be blunt. Where I would differ from them is that I'm not a cessationist, by the way, but they believe that is how you have the evidence of the Holy Spirit in your life, is your ability to speak in tongues.
Oh, well, then apparently I lose.
Well, and again, that's just in there. I don't know Pastor Gary personally in that regard, but I know that's an on paper position. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where. Yeah, on paper, we believe that.
Well, Jack
some
Hayford,
churches,
you've heard of him. He's AOG, but he does not hold that position.
Right.
So you're right. It's not across the board, but in general, that's an AOG position.
Well, I had a buddy of mine tell me, this was several years ago, that I needed to go over here to hear the worship director. And so I went, and it's a different kind of worship than we do at Hope. It's more of kind of an ongoing one song into the other, and small choir, etc. And it was awesome. Blew me away. Just loved it. And then I stuck around for the preacher, and he blew me away twice. I mean, the Pilcher is really good.
Yeah.
And what he does. Really good message, direct message, not a bunch of fluff, not a bunch of, just not a bunch of fluff. Kind of like when you speak. It just, you get up and you hear the word of God, and you're a good speaker, and you deliver it, but I always like who's the guy on our radio station, and I love his sermons, but he always says, Jesus. Is that Lutzer?
I'm not sure exactly who you're speaking of.
You just described every Pentecostal pastor across America.
Well, it's so interesting.
It might be more than one guy. I know who it's not. I know it's not John MacArthur.
And it's not David Jeremiah.
And it's not David Jeremiah.
It's not Ravi Zachariah.
No.
I think it's the guy. I think it's Lutzer from Moody.
Lutzer, when he says he has that, adds that W in God.
Yeah, he does that too. So when you were sitting there listening and reading the word of God, and I don't mind it because I don't think it's fake.
No, I don't think it is. And Lutzer's a sharp cookie. That guy.
I love his sermons.
Yeah.
But what do you? It's Jesus. Jesus is two syllables. Jesus. So what does he do? Does he just extend the first one? Jesus. Because it's not a third syllable. I mean, just say Jesus like you're preaching.
Jesus.
Okay. Say Jesus like you're on the radio.
Jesus. I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing. Yeah. It's
Jesus. Oh, maybe I have a little bit of that too. I may.
But Mac,
maybe that's why I like it.
Maybe that's why.
But
it's
Mac,
in you.
You got to do the Jimmy Swagger
there you go.
Manny Rooster walk as you're walking across the stage and say it. Jesus.
You got to strut. Have a.
Sometimes there's a little bit of a kind of an aspiration with it too. You kind of breathe in a little bit. Jesus. You got that a little bit too.
I just can't. I don't know.
But in all fairness, though, I mean, I'm never going to on the radio. I may, but I'm not going to sound quite like I would if I was preaching. I mean, sometimes you get a little fired up.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's one thing to say something. It's another thing when you're a little bit fired up and you get a little bit animated and you get passionate about something. There's just stuff that comes out. I sound, when I get excited, I'll sound a little bit more like, I got my boots on.
Southern.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anyway, I just like to hear his name. That's all I care about. All right, so let's start out with, I really want to get your opinion on this because I think this is interesting. So apparently there is a fund that's available in Iowa called the EB Elephant Boy -5.
That's a weird fund name.
EB5. And it is a group, a pool of wealthy, here's the operative word, foreign investors. So hedge funds go out and they particularly find wealthy men from overseas, well, wealthy people from overseas, and they promise them well, it's a way to come to America to see how their investments are going.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now that doesn't mean they don't get a return on their investment, because they do. It's something you got to pay back. But one of the benefits is, yeah, you'll go over to America and you'll tour these places and you'll be a guest of ours. And well, the YMCA of Greater Des Moines will not qualify for the foreign investment program known as the EB5 to finish the aquatic center at the Wellmark YMCA. This according to the agency that brokers the EB5 investments. After striking out twice on federal grants, the YMCA is looking for as much as $8 million to complete the pools at the downtown branch. EB5, which provides green cards, here you go, you listening?
Yep.
Green cards to wealthy foreign nationals who invest at least $500,000 in a job-creating U.S. business or project, was one funding option for the YMCA officials, but construction of the aquatic center would not create nearly enough jobs, said Patrick Hogan, CEO of Quad Cities-based CMB Regional Centers. To qualify for EB5 funding, create 10 jobs for every $500,000 invested, meaning the aquatic center would need to generate 160 direct and indirect jobs. It's not going to create those jobs, said Hogan, whose company matches foreign investors with domestic EB5 projects. Jobs drive everything. Additionally, the YMCA couldn't show the ability to repay the foreign investors. Yeah, it'd kind of hold me back. You can take an exclusive tour, by the way, of the new downtown Wellmark YMCA with Tim Short, the executive director at the YMCA. You can go down there and they'll give you a tour. So you've got a real issue here because, first of all, one of the reasons that a lot of people will join the Y is to swim.
Sure.
I mean, nowadays, do you have an exercise machine? Oh, never mind. I'm not going to ask you. Do you have an exercise machine at your home of some kind?
Yes.
Do you use it?
Yes, we dry all of our sweaters on it.
Me too. That's exactly right. I've got the treadmill, which is a great place to hang things, and I've got the Schwinn Aerodyne. Now that tells you how old that is. I bet you that's 30 years old.
I've used one of those things.
You used one once?
I used an I had one. My family had an Aerodyne growing up. They're pretty cool.
You know, all good exercise equipment will fold up neatly and slide under your bed.
Yeah, well, this stuff doesn't. This because when I bought this, I was a serious exerciser, or so I thought. But the pool's a big thing because most people do not have access to a pool 24/7, 365 to be able to swim, and as you know, swimming is one of the best exercises you can do.
And it happens to be fun.
So there are a lot of people upset after they tore down. I mean, they can't go back now. They can't go back to the building they demoed. They have no pool in the downtown Y. Now, you ask those hotsy-totsy business guys and ladies down there, because remember, we were downtown for 5 years. And during the noon hour, man, they'd be running the skywalks in the winter. They'd be going over to the Y. They can't swim right now. Well, if you pay money to have a membership to the Y, that's a big part of it. So not only do they not have the pool and they don't have the investors, now they're losing members to other aquatic centers who say, oh, no, come on over and swim with us. So it's too bad. And I don't know how that happened, to be honest with you. 2 pools and stadium seating for about 1,800 people. The aquatic center was built as a centerpiece of the new $30 million Wellmark YMCA, which opened in January. But following 2 failed attempts to secure federal new market tax credits, the project remains unfinished.
That's sad.
So what do you do? I mean, Wellmark's got its name on it. Does Wellmark step up and give them the $8 million?
Well, how much did Wellmark already invest? I mean, they probably already put a big chunk of change into it. I mean, it's not...
Usually, I can tell you that Wells Fargo Arena Wells Fargo paid $10 million for 10 years. So $1 million a year to be called the Wells Fargo Arena. And let me tell you why that's an awesome investment. Because it will forevermore be called Wells Fargo Arena or the Well.
Yeah.
So that name will stick forever and ever. Now, the YMCA will always be the YMCA.
Right.
The Wellmark YMCA, I guess, I don't know. I mean, it says it here. I'll give them credit. They put their money into it. But I don't know if I'd want to have my name on something that people haven't been very happy about. Even Iowa, U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley has gotten heavily involved in this process. The proposed convention hotel at Iowa, at the Iowa Event Center, has applied for $20 million in EB5 projects. But they would qualify because they create so many jobs.
Right. An aquatic center is not a job creator. I mean, an aquatic center, it's for the community. I mean, that is a service. It doesn't take a whole mess of a lot of people to maintain it, to work it, to have lifeguards and stuff like that. But, yeah, that's sad. That's too bad.
So, okay, it's sad. It's too bad. Wow. What do you do? I mean, you've got an organization that said, we're going to build this. You've got city officials that were promised. You've got the sale of the building. You've got the taking over. Remember, they took over a government building. That was the convention center. They took it over. Wellmark's got a responsibility to the city to operate that correctly for the use of or ownership of that building. I think this is a bigger problem than just no splash.
Right, but the error here is on the why. Right? They did not properly count the cost. They were hoping that they would get funds that they didn't get. I mean, is that I'm not trying to be harsh on them. I'm just saying.
No, well, but that's okay. You're right. You also have to add to that. Now I got to be careful here. How do I say this? There are always overruns in construction.
Sure.
Sometimes more companies are known for their overruns than they are for coming under budget. That was one of the criticisms that some people in the community had on the general contractor they chose. So you kind of know what you got when you're going into it.
Yeah.
So that was a part of it also.
We're still talking about $8 million, though. That was the shortfall?
Yeah.
$8 million shortfall?
But that's not a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money to you and I, and
is that
money to you? You could build a heck of a church for $8 million. You'd have the Southside mega church, wouldn't you? But for those kind of players at that kind of level, that's chump change.
So then, does Wells Fargo need to step, or not Wells Fargo? Wellmark need to step up and do the thing?
I don't know, but if I'm the CEO of Wellmark, I'm not real happy about having my name on all this bad press.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah, I think I don't know.
Is it worth them to swoop in and be the good guys?
Yes,
it's worth it.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
I can see that.
Absolutely. But see, here's the other thing. When Wellmark built their new building, they've got a complete exercise gym and everything. They just don't have a pool. What would have made sense is obviously now anybody who works for Wellmark gets to go to the Y for free, and then they can justify that in taking costs off the operation. But
that might be what you see come down.
We'll see. But I don't know anybody at Wellmark, so I'm not trying to trip anybody up. But yes, from a PR standpoint, either get your name off of it or put the money into it and finish it off and be a hero.
They could sweep in and be a hero for sure.
All right, when we come back, that young lady who died up in Ames and a local scandal. We'll tell you about it. Hi there, Father Tattoo.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed right or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money-back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
It's 22 minutes before the top of the hour Salem Radio Network News. And then next hour, Tom Coates in, along with Pastor Michael Damastis. And we're going to be talking some politics. Mike came early because, you know, it's such a long drive from the south side. I mean, how many places did you have to stop and refuel? And that electric car, does it even hold a charge all the way from Southridge to here?
Yeah, you bet.
So Michael's here early. I heard you had a great Christmas program this year.
We did.
Is it over?
Yes.
Is there anything else coming up?
Just great Sunday morning worship experiences.
Okay. All right. And we have to, as you did on the air, we have to give Rebecca Maxwell credit.
Absolutely.
She directed that and kind of put it together.
She's fantastic.
Yeah,
she is one of the best assets we have in our church. I love Rebecca. She's great.
Well, we keep trying to find a place for her here. And hopefully God's going to make that happen next year so we could have her here because she'd be a wonderful addition. You know, I told the president of the company when I was talking to him about it, I said, you know, you have me here and I'm glad to be here, but my shelf life isn't that long. Rebecca's got a good, 40 years or more left. And so I hope
at least 5.
5 years? For me or her?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Well, no, I'm 50.
Well,
I'm getting up there,
Didn't someone prophesy? G's going to come back in 5 years. Sorry, that's sarcasm. I'm sorry. I'm being sarcastic now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Was that the guy who says, Jesus?
Yeah, that was that guy. Yep. Yeah, that guy said 5 years he's coming back. Yep.
The infamous Father Tattoo joins us, and I don't remember the last time we had you on the air. I think it was a whole other, well, it wasn't here in this studio.
No.
It was the other studio.
It's been a year or better.
Has it been? Well, it's nice to see you here. Glad to have you here.
I was in the neighborhood.
What did you really come up for?
To hassle Chris.
Oh, did you? Well, here,
bedtime.
Mike, let's just back off and let
I think it's a better off-air conversation.
Yeah, it might be better off-air. It might get nasty. The FCC might get called.
What'd you do now? Did you make him mad again?
I made fun of his hair.
No.
What's wrong with his hair? His hair looks great.
Look at it. He's got headphones on. He's gotten all hipster now,
Well, you'll have.
You don't have a man bun, do you?
No, he does not have. He has a regular.
Man,
I don't have enough hair
those
for that.
drive me crazy.
I don't get it. I mean, I don't.
The good news is by the time my hair's long enough, that'll be out. So
Yeah.
It takes a long time to get your. Chris had a lovely man bun a few months ago.
See, I just thought I had a good long-haired hippie hair. I didn't really do. See, I didn't do it up high. You know, the funny thing about
you didn't do it up high. You had just a ponytail.
Right, I
like
just had a
old Frank
ponytail.
does.
Yeah, because the whole hipster bun is that whole you get shaved head and then up high and the little thing and the nubby and the
Frank,
then
can
the
you
big
do
beard
that?
and the.
I mean, you've got the length. Why don't you just do that? Just make a little man bun.
No, that's okay.
Frank was a hipster before it was cool.
That's right. I can't imagine that.
But, you know,
Frank's so hip, he's not hip anymore.
That's right.
Frank was hip and Gilligan was hip.
I was hip before hip was cool.
But, you know, fashion, I have to tell you, you know, I was in a hair salon place. Not like what you do, but by Sally's.
Sure.
Where you buy hair
Sally's
stuff.
Beauty Supply?
Yeah, because my wife, my niece had used this really fancy curling iron on her, and she loved it, so she wanted me to go get one for her. So I go in there, and I'm there like 20 minutes because we're trying to run down this curling iron, and I'm seeing just stuff that I don't normally see in hair and hair color and just all this kind of stuff.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah, right. And what hit me was I do the same thing with my facial hair. I mean, I don't know. The only reason my hair is this long now is because I'm playing Santa Claus. But I got the goatee thing going here, and I want to grow that a whole mother year. And I say that, and we're all married here. I get the look that doesn't say anything. But the little sound cloud upstairs is my behind. You're going to have that going on for another year.
You know, a good beard,
that
though.
Face. I'm not going to do that.
I think it was Spurgeon said, like, a good beard is the most godly and scriptural thing.
Amen.
Yes.
And, you know, so as long as you got it nicely trimmed, I don't see why your wife would object to it. I get the guys that just let them go every which way, but, like, I have mine that sides are shorter than the bottom.
Yeah, no, you're groomed.
Yeah.
You're groomed.
Well, I'm getting ready. We got a photo shoot I got to go to, so they're going to line me up and get everything set up.
Why are they taking pictures of you?
So part of me departing from radio is I went to beauty school.
Yes, you did.
And so part of that is I am launching my own website and doing my own portfolio work.
Okay.
And the hope is to do like stage work.
Okay.
And instruction. So we're getting that stuff running
So you're
now.
getting headshots done.
Well, it's more than
Like
headshots.
you're a movie star.
We're doing like the whole website. You know, like my Rebels Cause radio website?
Yeah.
It's going to be like that, except now about hair.
About hair.
Yeah. So
And this, seriously though, Dan can trick out a hairdo though. In all seriousness, he does a good job. So
I've been in the
I don't
salon
know
for
what that means. Trick out.
I don't know what I
hairdo.
was trying to be cool.
I've spent 10 years in the industry, so I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm not necessarily the greatest. I definitely am still learning in school. I'm learning from my wife and the team surrounding me. But we do some pretty good hair at my salons, and we're pretty excited about it.
I'm trying. I know it's Betty.
Yeah, Bombshell Betty's.
Bombshell
Yeah.
Betty. I was thinking Shotgun Betty, but that's a bar. So Bombshell Betty's, and you've got one downtown, you got one in Drake.
Yeah, on the Drake campus.
And then you got one down at 156th and
yeah, right next to
Hickman.
Rookie Sports Bar and Grill.
Yeah, are they both called Bombshell Betty's?
Yep, both same.
And what's
thing.
your place going to be called? Like Bombshell Dan's?
It's just going to be the same place.
Dangerous Dan's?
It's just going to be the same place.
How about
You know what's
how about
ironic though?
Father Tattoos.
You know what I was just going to say? You know what's ironic though? I go by Papa Tat.
Well, that's because of me.
Yeah, that's all you.
Yeah, well, it is though, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's you.
Yeah, Father Tattoo.
I didn't like the father thing because I'm not Catholic.
Right, you
and my
dropped that.
Catholic priest buddy gets offended when people call me Father Tattoo. So I said, just call me Papa. And he's like, that's no better. I'm like,
no
I don't
better.
care, Adam.
You did it. All right. Well,
Hey, I want to say on the beard deal, just because he was mentioning Spurgeon, I think it's really important. You know what you refer to as a guy who does shave his face, though, right? A girl.
a guy who shaves his face is called a girl.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Where's Coates when you need him?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd. I'll be honest with you. I don't shave because I'm lazy. I have a 3 o'clock shadow. If I shave at 5 o'clock in the morning, by the time it gets down to the evening, I've got it's stubbly and it bothers my wife's face when I kiss her and stuff like that. So that's the reason now this year
I've got extra chins. That's why I don't shave.
That's a good point.
That's my reason.
If you
That's
got
my
more
reason.
chins than a Chinese phone book, a good goatee really helps that out.
I distinctly tried to avoid that joke.
Oh man,
I think that's great. Was that offensive?
The opinions of J. Michael McCoy.
Yeah.
I don't mean that offensively.
No, anyway.
Okay,
could be all right.
Just move on. There's nothing to see here, folks. Move on. So
Too much fun.
So Trump's not a Christian, huh, Chris?
That's what I've heard.
Did you hear that?
That's why I'm here.
He changed. He changed the course of that campaign. I am convinced. You know the story? So he's on, Chris is one day, and we're talking about Trump, and he just lays it out. He wasn't trying to be funny. He just says, well, Trump isn't a Christian. Well, Tana Gertz, who is his Iowa campaign manager, called up and ripped him a new one and talked about Donald as a person and how he is with his family and how he is he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't chew, he lives a
or date girls that do.
Yeah. Actually, her defense of him didn't help her case at all.
Oh my goodness.
And that thing. I actually was just ribbing Chris about it, and it's ironic Michael's here because when I first met Michael, you brought him on to debate me on Calvinism, if you remember that, right?
Yeah, I kicked your butt.
Yeah, right, something like that. I think we'll call it an even draw at this point. But
it was predestined to be a draw.
Yep. Chris had a talk with me in the parking lot of the old studios, right? And because I was still kind of fumed up, and he said, you got to think about this guy. This guy is a Christian. He's a brother. Blah blah. He claims Christ. And he changed my whole perspective to Damascus. We've had a pretty good friendship, a few hiccups here and there, but since then, and it's all Chris's like, you need to be more considerate of these things. You can't just say that. And then here Chris comes out and does this, and I'm not a Trump guy, so I wasn't offended, but it made me chuckle.
Well, it's an interesting point though, and I said this off the air. One of the things the only thing I probably regret from saying that Donald Trump is not a Christian is being able to put that in some sort of a context.
Sure.
Right. And that's, if we want to bring that up, there is a context to that statement. So I don't know if you want to talk about that, Mac.
Yes, I think it's definitely important.
Dig the hole deeper.
That we talk about that when we come back. And I got to talk about this state senator thing. I got to get a minute of that in.
You piqued my interest on that.
All right, we'll talk about it next, live here on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
All right, 10 before the 4 o'clock hour. 4 o'clock hour begins with Salem Radio Network News. And then Tom Coates will be here, along with Pastor Michael Damastis from the Fort Des Moines Christian Church on Army Post. I got Church of Christ. Fort Des Moines Church of Christ. No? Fort Des Moines Church of Christ. So I got it right.
We are that, but our actual name is Fort Des Moines Church of Christ.
And what did I say?
Fort Des Moines Christian Church.
Which is a church across the street, by the way.
Well, is there a Fort Des Moines Christian Church?
No, there's not.
All right, so when I say Fort Des Moines Christian Church and Fort Des Moines, never mind, I'm wrong. I'm just not.
Well, isn't there a big church right across the street from you named the Fort Des Moines Church, though, or something?
There's a number of Fort Des Moines churches. There's Fort Des Moines Church of the Open Bible down the road. There's Fort Des Moines United Methodist Church, Fort Des Moines Presbyterian Church. You know,
yeah, you got to be a little more specific, I think.
But Fort Des Moines Church of Christ.
Church of Christ.
Yeah, that's us.
How many years have we had Pastor Damastis on? I'm just
351. There's. All right. So, do you want to hang around into the 4 o'clock hour with Tom to talk about this Trump thing? Because Mike wants to talk about it.
Yeah, sure. I guess I can. You're saying you'd like to move on to the news.
Well, I just want to finish the news.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think this is interesting. And these are the opinions of J. Michael McCoy and not those of the Truth 99.3, Chris Roloff, or anybody else in this room.
Except I still got to answer the complaint phone call, though, you know.
I have had a long-standing relationship with a man by the name of Akeo Abdul Samad. And I have to admit that Akeo has always been good to me. Always been good to me. He'll come on this show, you know, the whole time. But every once in a while, just something pops up, and it kind of bothers me. Now, he very well could be a victim here. All right? And with the investigation that the police did, it looks like he is. But so here's what happens. Michael McRae, 28 years old, works for Akeo Samad. He reports to the police that a letter filled with white powder was delivered to him and Akeo, both names on that. The letter, which referenced the killing of black teenager Trayvon Martin by a neighborhood watch volunteer, used racial slurs and threatened violence against both McRae and Abdul Samad. The white powder, of course, inside the letter deemed non-hazardous, and the letter itself was traced back to McRae. So Akeo's right-hand person, who is also a Drake Law student, ends up writing this letter to himself and Akeo using racial slurs, talking about racism, and puts this white powder in there. And he was found guilty. Well, it's a plea agreement. He'll be able to argue in favor of probation sentence rather than prison. He will be sentenced by Chief U.S. District Judge John Jarvie on a hearing on March 25th. So, you'll never know. You have to ask the question, how much did Akeo know? And why would McRae try to take Akeo down? Because Akeo's pretty good to his people.
Was he trying to take him down? From the way that you just described that, it sounded like they were just trying to stir the pot on racial division.
Well, that's the other side of the coin. The other side of the coin is they were in this together, and McRae's taken the hit because something like that would be the end of Akeo. It'd be the end of his 501c3. It'd be the end of his legislative career.
Well, and here's what I would say. I was in Kentucky with the whole Kim Davis rally, and you remember the whole thing with the staffer blocking Ted Cruz from going up on stage and all of that stuff. I don't have any thoughts that Mike Huckabee had said to that staffer, hey, make sure he doesn't get up there. I think that staffer was acting on his own accord, and these guys can't necessarily be held accountable for all of the actions of their individual staffers. And again, this is a lot more local. This is a lot smaller, pool here. But I don't think that is, you can't necessarily connect those dots and say that guilty by association. That's just not. I would give a lot of grace on a thing like that. For me, there's a lot of latitude. Yes, absolutely.
And I also I agree with you, by the way. I also have to respect the county attorney, the judge, the people who are involved in this.
Well, you bet they investigated that thoroughly.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I mean, we hear stories about politicians who are so well covered that as long as they don't try to put their big toe in somebody else's pond, they usually get their butt covered. And Akeo has certainly done a wonderful job in this community of keeping his head above water, keeping things going well. But the other side is always wondered and thought. The other thing, I don't know if you heard, but 700,000 students 700,000 students today were dismissed from Los Angeles, California.
Right.
Schools.
Right.
Because of some threat.
Yeah. And I also heard that it has since been deemed that that was a hoax.
Aren't they all hoaxes?
Yeah, it was something that originated from Germany. That's
really?
Yeah, that's what they're saying now. But realistically, isn't that the right decision? I'm sorry. I mean, we put such a high price on education. Let's pull our kids when there's a bomb threat.
I would be okay with
But
that.
we had a bomb threat every day.
Well, you know what? I would rather have alive kids. I'll plant my flag right there.
But Dan, then what we're doing is we're bending to terrorism.
You know what we're not doing though? Having a bunch of dead children. The problem with this group is they're crazy enough to do anything. It's not rational people we're dealing with.
I think it's too soon right now. I think that it's too close to the San Bernardino, shooting. I think that's everybody is on edge. I think that hypersensitivity exists, and I don't disagree with the call. They took the kids out. Yeah, it probably cost a whole big snafu for everybody, but it is what it is.
It stinks, and it's inconvenient, and it ruins an atmosphere that's supposed to be safe. But hey, maybe it'll draw attention that these aren't always safe places. Look at Sandy Hook. That was a school.
Yeah, I know.
It's the scariest thought I ever have, my children being somewhere where I cannot protect them.
Right.
That's why the Damascus Institute for Higher Learning was a very safe school.
Yeah.
I see.
Homeschooling is a great option.
We're going to segue here into the news with Salem Radio Network News, and then Mike Ahmed is going to join us. And Mike Ahmed, we all know who he is. I'll give his short story, and it plays right in to terrorism. Mike is originally from Egypt, fled Egypt back when Anwar Sadat was assassinated, came to America thinking he was going to convert all the infidels, and he got mugged by Jesus. And so he's got a wonderful testimony there, but he has a perspective on terrorism that I'm glad I've got his perspective, because I wouldn't want that perspective, but his is so factual. And Tom Coates is going to join us. Plus, we're going to talk about why Chris Roloff changed the course of history with one little statement. You don't think you did. I'm telling you. Mike, you and I have hung around guys like Dace long enough to know that in Iowa caucuses makes a difference, doesn't it? Candidates listen to that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Going to be a fun 4 o'clock hour. We'll talk to you when we come back from Salem Radio Network News. I'll see you then. J. Michael McCoy, if I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. Love this job. Couldn't do it without you. Right here on The Truth.